What's good, y'all? It's your boy Reed got options. And like I always say, whether the market's up or down, we see green. We've been seeing green the last couple of days, and SPY has been looking bullish after this bounce right here around 739, 740. What you want to pay attention to is the Fibonacci retracements that we have set up from June high to May low. Then you can see the 78% retracement level all the way to the 50% retracement level right here. These psychological areas, and don't forget about the 66618 range. We do have a downtrend starting right here with SPY on the daily, and it's forming a wedge if we come around this 740 area. It's a lot of price action here. Under the 740 area, we drop to 737. Under 737, we can touch the 50 EMA on the daily at 734, and then try to find a home at 732. Right here, last Friday, June 26th, there was a lot of indecision, but this was a good Morningstar doji. Great reversal and got us up here all through this week. We did have some chop last week, so this was a little crazy. All right, so what you want to pay attention to is these two big moves, right? But we are getting a breakout of the 78% retracement level. This could be a false breakout. If we start to retrace back down under 750 tomorrow, that would not be good. That will cause a flush, possibly down to the 745 area. 745 holds, then we can run up. Checking out the Discord, we did talk about that in the pre-market plan today with triple Q's running with semiconductors, but SPY can reach 750 if it can get momentum past 747, which it did, but the Mag 7 is red, so you need for the Mag 7 to recover and for SPY to move higher, and that's what the Mag 7 did. And as you can see, with the winners, we started pulling in some good wins all day today, just little scalps, and we were going crazy. All right, so small scalps making like $45 today, and then you can make $20. It doesn't matter what you're doing in the stock market as long as you're ending the day green. $132 for a subscriber, another $40 for a subscriber, 100% on the play for a subscriber. We just been going up. All right, you don't need to do anything extraordinary to make money daily. Okay, and we could take watch list plays too, because you should practice and stay on your toes. Keep your tools sharp when it comes to trading. Back to the charts. SPY is looking good. I like momentum above 752. Above 752, then it could be a rocket all the way to 760 before we see any type of pullback. What you will want to see is SPY taking off up to this level, then dropping back down here, then holding the 78% retracement level as support at 750, and then you can start running up higher. Looking at triple Qs today, it definitely ran with semiconductors, and the main semiconductor that is giving you the movement with the tech sector and everything is Micron. Triple Q is looking similar to SPY. We went from May high to May low, not June high to June low. We could extend those fibs just like this, and it gives you a better outlook on what's going on. My multi-year Fibonacci retracement is right here. We can get that out of the way so it can be clearer. And as you can see, we're breaking out of the 66618 range. The 9 EMA is about to cross the 21 EMA right here. But if we break below the 66618 range and get under 717, then we can fill this gap up to the downside around 711, 710. And that wouldn't be good for triple Qs. Understand that triple Qs bounce a lot around the 700 area. You see this is the area confluence. Every time we got down around this area, you did bounce significantly. All right. You also bounce at 708. So 708 doesn't hold. You can put in your puts for 700 if it flushes down right here. But if 78 does hold, then we're just going to bounce right back. I wouldn't go no further than $2 out the money. So 710 calls the moment I see 708 hold, right? But if we do get this breakout, we can retest 731 next, okay? And that's because Micron is running. Now, even though Micron gapped up today, it still was red, and the 9 EMA and 21 EMA are crossed. The 9 EMA is below the 21 EMA. You may not be able to see it, but you can see the prices over here is pretty tight. So we start to get a gap fill down here to like 950 again on Micron. Expect triple Qs to really take a dump. All right, we did have this megaphone pattern starting out down here, and then we just gapped up around there. But if Micron drops back down under 900, preferably under 890, then we should see a big correction. Okay, I wouldn't say sell off, but look at right here. Before we got the breakout May 22nd, we were at 781. Let's just put an alert and a trend line right here. This is the stop that we could have if we start to flush and correct with Micron. But you have to get this gap fill first at 960. If 960 holds, then we can run up. But this area right here, this looks bearish because the 9 EMA crossing the 21, and we topped out around 1035 today. So that's what you want to pay attention to, this gap fill. If we get above 1035, then we can start running up and fill this gap to the upside at 1124 on Micron. Tesla is looking good, has a wedge, was starting a downtrend, and it's just toying around with trying to break out. Now it's sitting around the 78% retracement level on my multi-year Fibonacci retracements. And it broke out the 21 EMA today on the daily, and it ran from 390, which is a strong buy area, as you can see, from 390 all the way up to 407 today. Okay, you want to see a 410 handle on Tesla, then a 415 before it runs to 430. You could do that. You could retest these highs right here around 430 before trying to get back up to 450. You do have earnings coming out in 2 more weeks, so pay attention to that. You can get the pre-earnings run up with Tesla, and it seems like Tesla's doing good. No big news has come out yet for Tesla, but please understand that there's something coming down the pike for Tesla when we're talking about this ticker right here. If you do break down below 403 to 400, then you can see a retest of this 200 EMA on the daily at 397, 395. I'm not bearish on Tesla until we break under 390. That's when you can say, okay, we're coming back down, possibly around this 373 area where a lot of buyers step in at this area. Looking at Apple. Looks like it could be double topping right here at 316.49. If it breaks through 316 and get to 318, then we're going to see new all-time highs, and it should be a straight shot to 324. If that does not happen, we reject this area. 311, 310 is where you can find a pit stop before going back up. But if you do break down below 310, it's going to be a $5 move to 305. After 305, you could stop at 302 to figure out what we're going to do. And then if that doesn't happen, just think about 300 clean. 300 clean and then bounce. But right now, we have a possible double top, but we are going into resistance with a big body candle. So tomorrow should be the day that we try to break through here. But if you break down from this area, then it's going to be bad. All right, so you want to get above 317, 318 to be honest, in order to get some continuation. If that does not happen, expect a 310, 311 handle tomorrow because Apple has been moving 5 points a day for the last week. Looking at Microsoft. Once we started selling off at the beginning of June, we were up at 460. We sold off significantly all the way down to 354. If you look, that was a double bottom. We started pumping back up a couple weeks ago. What you did was come into the 66618 range of the multi-year Fibonacci retracements. Right here, the 9 EMA still has not crossed the 21 EMA, so this could just be a little bounce before we come back down. I do like this big body candle right here. If you break out the 66618 range, you can step back up to the 400 level. The 400 level, that is when you will get these EMAs to slope up positively. So you will get the 9 EMA possibly crossing the 21 and the 21 going through the 50 EMA. That's what you want to see at 400. Once you break out of 400, you can see that it was a nice support and then turn to resistance. Break out of 400, the next stop would be 415, nothing in its way. So that is what you're looking for in Microsoft. That also has earnings coming up in the next couple of weeks. So pay attention. We do have earnings season coming up. There's going to be some big moves to the upside. July is supposed to be an okay month for the stock market. You just don't want anything pushing it back down. But like I always say, whether the market's up or down, we see green peaks.